Hey everyone, my name is Angela Hollowell. I'm the founder of rootfulmedia, and today I wanted to make some semi-bold predictions about where I think the creator economy is going in 2024. These will be a mix of podcasting, video marketing, brand marketing type of insights that I think. I have about 10 here. My laptop is here and not on my desk in my office because we are trying to start 2024 off a little bit more organized. So it's under construction right now. So hopefully my living room will do. If you're new to this channel, I talk a lot about creative entrepreneurship and visual storytelling in order to help you grow your audience and impact. If that sounds like something you're interested in, I would love for you to hit the subscribe button. Maybe even like this video if it provides value to you. And without further ado, we're going to jump right in. First prediction. I do believe that live audio will be making a comeback in 2024. And I know that's a bold statement given the fact that Amazon closed down AMP at the end of 2023. Spotify and Clubhouse haven't really been super successful in the live audio arena. But I do feel like there was a time where Twitter Spaces was one of my favorite places to hang out on the internet. I saw creators and especially podcasters really take advantage of having a new way to deepen their relationship with an already existing audience on Twitter. And it was one of my favorite places to hang out. People were recording spaces, holding weekly spaces, sometimes even daily spaces. And they were recording them, repurposing them for their podcast. And we saw not only that coming in at the indie creator level, but saw it being really useful at the really professional creator level. Twitter Spaces were a part of marketing campaigns for films, for TV shows, for after shows, and you really saw the endless potential that Twitter Spaces had before a certain person came in and made that not really as fun. But I still think that the energy from Twitter Spaces is there, and I think there's definitely space to build upon that. I think if Instagram is really intent on pissing off Twitter, they will take advantage of that. I think that LinkedIn live audio will start to grow as people are trying to find ways to maybe find a new home on the internet. And LinkedIn is notoriously not the sexiest platform, but it is a platform that has had a little bit more staying power and stability in a way that Twitter has not. And if you are a professional creator or an indie creator, I think that LinkedIn Live will be one of the great places to be in 2024. And I'm not ruling out that another company could come in and do something similar. Like I said, Instagram or Threads or insert Blue Sky or Mastodon, whoever, if they want to take the reins on that, I could definitely see that happening. My second prediction is that we're going to see a lot more consolidation of tech companies and specifically creative tech companies. We've already seen Patreon kind of move in this direction. They previously had Discord as kind of their chat feature. Now they're piloting their own chat on the app specifically. I think they're going to try to bring it to the desktop version here soon. But they're trying to minimize the amount of places you need to go in order to have a paid and private community. Beehive acquired Substack, Descript acquired Squadcast, and really what I think we're trying to see is these companies become the one-stop shop for creators. With Descript, they're eliminating the need for you to record elsewhere. You can record and edit a podcast or a video with the one app, which is huge and a time saver. When you think about the alternatives of, a CapCut, Adobe Premiere, DaVinci Resolve, Final Cut, you can only edit there, right? There's no real way for you to edit and record in the same place. I think that made them a direct competitor with the likes of Riverside, which is also a cloud-based, internet-based recording platform that added the functionality of text-based editing. And so we're seeing kind of this remote recording battle to the death, which I love, because it only means that we win as creators at the end of the day. My third prediction is that we're going to see a lot more podcast data pop up in 2024. I remember when I started in 2020, there was almost no data about video podcasting, and now there's data everywhere about the trends and some of the habits of people who watch and create video podcasts. Riverside put out a report. We've seen a lot from XSM Radio. Capshow puts out a report similar to that on podcast marketing. And I think we're seeing a lot that's really going to benefit, creators. When you think about the amount of data that's available, aggregate data, especially about podcasting, in comparison to something like YouTube or video creation. We are, years behind, and I'm really hoping that this is the year that we make significant strides into catching up. And I say we, I'm not a podcast tech company, but I do feel like, I host my podcast on Captivate, and they've made some really great strides in, allowing you to import legacy analytics from your previous podcast hosts, which is everybody's biggest pain in the ass when switching podcast hosts, is that they're going to lose their data and they're going to have to start from scratch, or at least do a little more math when it comes to determining how many podcast downloads they have, what episodes are performing really well, what are some things that are working and not working in their marketing, yada, yada, yada. So I'm really excited for that to happen. I think more data. I know it's not sexy. I know it's maybe not everybody's most fun thing to do or read or talk about, but I do think it's going to be for the betterment of podcast creation and video podcast creation by extension. This one is a little off the wall, but I'm going to need y'all to go with me. My next prediction is that I think sports and fitness brands are going to be leading in the creative brands that we're going to see in 2024. We've seen Lululemon and Peloton ink a partnership, who are two seemingly rival organizations turning into a collaboration. And we know that they benefited from it because Peloton stock went through the roof after that announcement. So I think that there's space for people to collaborate in a way that's mutually beneficial, especially bigger sports brands who are known to have some of the best content creator teams in the market. And I think really in the way that they're collaborating, especially through the app, is a way for them to really hone in on some of their independently created content that they're creating, video content especially, and not just relying on deep, big budget marketing campaigns to grow their audience and fan base and brand loyalty. We've seen Skims and the WNBA ink a partnership that took reportedly, I think it was 3 to 5 years to ink or something like that. And I know it's not anything new for brands to partner with, professional level sports leagues, but the WNBA, women's sports in general, I think they're well overdue for a lot of these big time partnerships. And I think Skims, which is founded by Kim Kardashian, is just a fitting partnership, no matter how you feel about the Kardashians. That's not what we're here to talk about. What we're here to talk about is the level and the luxury level of brands that are partnering with the WNBA. And then I think we're going to continue to see partner with women's soccer, women's track and field, all of that type of stuff. I know I'm not the first person to say this, but I think NIL deals, we're going to start to see the maturation of those NIL deals as some of these athletes go from college athletes to pro athletes. And I think some of the assumption is that, people are inking or milking these NIL deals because they're not going to make as much as pro athletes, especially the women athletes. And the reality is, just because you graduate doesn't mean that relationship with that brand has to change. And quite frankly, just like anything else, the earlier you start to learn about the business of being an athlete, or the business and the finance side of being an athlete, and how to manage your money, how to build relationships with brands and organizations, what works for you, what your capacity is as an athlete, because that's a very grueling schedule, or at least it can be. I think the better off you're going to be in the pro leagues, when you're thinking about, wow, I just made this jump from maybe just being an average college student making no money from my name, image, and likeness, and now going to making all the money from my name, image, and likeness. I think it lessens that curve and really makes it accessible for people at a smaller level to get in. I say smaller level, that's not accurate, but people at a younger level to get in. And I think that's going to be really impactful. And it already has been. I mean, these college athletes are making bang with these brand partnerships. And I think creators have a lot to learn about how some of these deals are structured and how college athletes use their platforms in order to be attractive to brands. We're seeing some sports media companies creating serial content, and I am a sucker for a video series, a film series, a TV series, a limited series, a all of it. I love all of it, okay? Together, they partnered with Maximum Effort, which I think is Ryan Reynolds' brand. Together, 4 different pro women athletes that came together to form that. Incredible work they're doing. And then, of course, we're seeing some of these Netflix originals, like The Quarterback. They saw a lot of success with The Last Dance, and I think they're still taking cues from that on what Sports fans would like to see the F1 series as well. I think sports fans are really diving deep into some of these kind of serial things. And I think Netflix, again, together they haven't released anything on Netflix. They've released Fubo and Tubi and other platforms. So I'm really excited to see some of this come to YouTube too. Like some of this serial content come to YouTube, and we're seeing a really high level of production from a lot of these sports series. So super excited. I think they're just leading the pack. That's my prediction, sticking to it. Together is what I would call an indie creator network, and that it is largely independent from Hollywood. And I think we're gonna see a lot more indie creator networks pop up in 2024. There are some incredible independent podcast networks like Tenderfoot TV, the Neatness Network, things like that are doing incredible work and really bridge building across creators and across different platforms and industries and niches to elevate the podcast space. And we've also seen some creator syndicates pop up, so where creators are coming together to invest in other creator businesses. I think that's beautiful. You know, any way that we can continue to invest in creators and not make this so much, everything's so independent where like creators can't come together and collaborate and invest in each other. I think that's the best way to do it. I think that's what's going to move the whole industry forward, and something we're going to continue to see in 2024. As you know, we're hearing big creators like the girl from Call Her Daddy who produced Instagram's podcast. She's investing in creators. So she's not just, I got my show, y'all figure it out. She's like helping other people produce shows, which is awesome, and bringing in other creators and things like that. So that's really great to see. Hope to see more of it 2024. With that being said, I'm sure there's some people who love Instagram. They love Instagram's podcast. But the reality is that these social media creator funds are not like, they're struggling, you feel me? And I think they're going to continue to struggle. With that being said, no shade to Instagram or any other social media platform that you like, but I'm sure you've already noticed that social media creator funds are having a hard time keeping up with the sheer amount of creators that they are now in some ways pledging to support financially. And I think we're going to continue to see that as the barrier to entry to being a content creator continues to get lower and lower, which I think is a good thing. I think that social media platforms are really going to have a hard time keeping up. People complain about YouTube AdSense all the time, but YouTube AdSense has probably been one of the most consistent payouts that creators have at least started with in some ways. I think Instagram, TikTok, even Twitter now, they're really going to struggle to keep up with that consistency and really provide ways that don't distract from the audience experience or from the user experience, which, according to Instagram, is their biggest gripe. Ultimately, I think that creators are going to have to find another way to diversify. We've already seen a lot of TikTokers heed the wise advice of YouTube creators, and that, once you get big and get an audience, get them over to long form as quick as you can. They're going to want to see that. And I think that has reigned true for a lot of TikTok creators who have pivoted to YouTube and Twitch, if you will. And I think we're going to continue to see more people really invest in long form video and audio and written creation. And I'm excited for that because I feel like that's really going to help the quality of what's being put out into the space. Which is, inevitably some people's gripe, which is that there's a lot of, things being put out there. Not a lot of it's great. And, I tend to agree with the sentiment that there is a lot of mediocrity in this space. And if you're going to do something, make it as great as you can make it. And that comes from really the practice of putting in the hours, putting in the time to make something that's longer than 30 to 60 seconds. That's just my grain of salt. I'm not saying stop making short form videos right now today. I'm just saying that if you want to make a long-term career out of creating, you might want to think beyond 30 to 60 seconds. That's all I'm saying. Hope it helps. Hope you receive it in the way that you need to receive it. An interesting short-form trend that I think is going to lend itself to long-form creation in that similar vein is video postcards. I think we're going to start to see video postcards become more of a thing. I think maybe about midway through my time as a YouTube fan, travel videos were a huge thing. And I think, the more you can add a storytelling element to that, the better off we'll be as a people. And I think these video postcards really bridge the gap between like these highly cinematic videos with no story and like videos that are like a lot of story but not as high quality. I think we're going to see that gap being bridged a little bit more with video postcards. So I'm super excited for that. I keep saying I'm super excited, and it's because I am. I think all of this is like great news. The fact that we are continuing to move forward as creators is always great news. If it's stagnant, if it's just saying the same, if people are just putting in the same formula that they know is going to be successful and getting out the same results, at some point that gets boring. If we're not innovating in the space, if we're not adding to the space of creating and challenging each other to be better creators and investing in each other to be better creators, then like, what are we doing? Okay, end of rant. This is more in the video ad marketing space, but I think we're going to start seeing more QR codes in commercials. And I say that because QR codes are having a heyday, honey. And whoever started playing around with QR codes on like the little sidebar in Hulu is like probably sitting back on an island sipping Mai Tais. Okay, they're probably having a great life because QR codes are so easy, they're so convenient, and with the big push for platforms like YouTube and TikTok to edit more and have video be more accessible for TV, I keep pointing because that's where my TV is, but I think we're gonna see that become more prevalent, and I think that's an interesting thing. I think it's great if you have a call to action where you're like, go to this link to get this thing, go to this link to get this discount, go to this link to check out this product and order it for yourself. Like, it's just a natural progression to that, where, of course, in a regular TV ad, you don't really have that kind of call to action. So I'm super excited to see how people are going to implement that. And I think at all scales. I think it's going to be on YouTube videos. I think it's going to be on TikTok videos. I think we're going to see more activations on maybe even the Super Bowl. I don't think it's going to be the Super Bowl like 2024, but maybe the year after. But I could be wrong. If it is, you heard it here first, okay? That's all I'm saying. Talking about things that have had a really good return, a second heyday, a second wind, if you will. And I think that is like physical print products. We've seen two of my favorite creators, Colin and Samir. They did a newspaper in the second anniversary of the Published Press, which is their newsletter community. And people ate that shit up. They loved it. And if I could have gotten one, I would have gotten one. And Dane Cardiel, who is the founder of Good Tape, that is also a podcast newspaper that is not put out regularly. I think it's going to be put out quarterly. But that's super awesome to see, and people ate it up. He brought a bunch of copies to Resonate Podcast Festival in Richmond in 2023 in November. Love that festival. I think you should go I love Richmond, but I also love podcasting, and so it was perfect for me. So if you love podcasting and are open to loving Richmond, I think you should try it. And I think we're going to see more of that, bringing back that like physical media, that we can hold and we can touch and we can feel and we can hang up in our room and we can look at and we can share with others. And I think that's just so important to have and to keep. And I hope to obviously contribute to that, but also to see more of it. So keep doing what you're doing. If you're thinking about print media, I think it's maybe unsexy, but also overlooked. And I think that when something is overlooked, you have space to be intentional, to be creative, to be innovative. You see where I'm going. You see where I'm going with this. So those are my 10 predictions for the 2024 creator economy. If you predicted any of these things, if you agree with any of these things, if you think I am dead wrong about any of these things, I want to know. Leave me a comment. If you enjoyed stuff like this, if you enjoy deep founder profiles, talks about creative entrepreneurship, visual storytelling, that's what this channel is about. I hope you subscribe. I hope you liked this video if you liked it. And if you want some more insider stuff, subscribe on Substack to our Please Hustle Responsibly community. I'd love to have you there, love to talk to you there. And if we don't get to talk, you know what? I hope I see you in the next video.